Divine grace, Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada ki Ananda Koti Vaishnavinte, Dr. Rashid Bhagavatam ki or very embarrassing if my phone rang. So similarly, if you didn't check your phone. So as you heard the big announcement, during this visit we've been speaking about the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj to Lord Nrsimhadev, the title of chapter 9, canto 7. How many of you have Srimad Bhagavatam in your home? Ooh, awesome. So, for those of you that don't yet have Srimad Bhagavatam in your home, or those of you that know somebody that would like to make a nice gift, give this wonderful Srimad, beautiful Bhagavatam to this Srimad Bhagavatam. And those of you that have, please read this is maybe a little Srimad Bhagavatam. The deity of Lord Nrsimhadev and Sri Mayapur very interesting history of how that deed was installed, but there's some kind of history, but something but to share that story. These, in prayers that we've heard so far, the Shinade appears to grant or give fearlessness to living entities in this world, because living entities in this world receive a material body, grows in subtle body, and therefore animal propensities that go along with getting a material body, eating, sleeping, they just, you can't do without eating, you can't do without sleeping, and fearing of high and mating to make the cycle keep going in more and more species at the same time. Just animal propensities. People don't have to go to school to learn about fear. They'll learn about hunger or sleeping and mating for that matter. But of the four animal propensities, one is the strongest. Meaning, if one is doing any one of the other three, when there's a threatening situation, life-threatening situation, you stop anything else and you do that one thing. It's the strongest. So how to come to the place of fearlessness? Prahlad Maharaj's teaching is by taking shelter of one who grants fearlessness, by absorption. We've heard this nice verse from the Bhagavatam, Abhinivesha, absorption in, but it's absorption in the supreme, but the shelter of transcendence, the shelter of everything. And he appears in this form of Bodhisattva to grant that. So you may not be as fortunate as Prahlad, where he appears before you and he places his hand on your head and all fear is gone and all bodily conception is gone. And by remembering him, other than his appearing before you, remembering him and doing what we're doing right now, according to what Prahlad says, just by hearing about, remembering, reciting the glories of Bodhisattva, then that fearlessness becomes yours. This whole section of the Bhagavatam is based upon a dialogue, a question-answer dialogue between Maharaj Yudhisthira, who's in the foreground of the painting, and Narada Muni. And as you see, Krishna is seated on his elevated seat, and the circumstance is just after the Rajasuya Yajna, where Shishupal became so offensive, people wanted to finish him. Krishna just held his hand up in the air, indicating no. But offensive and offensive and offensive, 100 times vilifying Krishna in that public assembly. And then Krishna relieved him of his offensive speaking part of his body from the rest of the body, it was Sudarshan Chakra. And the soul, everyone saw in the assembly, the soul, like an effulgent light, left his body, hovered in the air for some time, and then merged into the body of Krishna. Amazing. So they cleaned up the bloody mess, forgot the Yajna. Later, Maharaj Yudhisthira was asking Narada, how did this happen? This offensive person, how did he get liberation? When great sages, saintly people, for lifetimes, they strive to purify themselves and become eligible, and they don't always make it. This bad person, not liberation. How? The answer given that he goes along with the chapter is he chanted Krishna's holy name. In derision, there's a Sanskrit term for that. But even in derision, the name is so purifying, you got liberation. All of the reactions of so many bad deeds were relieved. Just by calling Krishna's name. What to speak of, if you become a member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and you call lovingly, I regularly chant with feeling the holy name of Krishna, how much more benefit will come? Then there's another question that he raises that way over in chapter 9 is addressing in Prahlad's prayers. When Maharaj Yudhishthira was performing the Rajasuya sacrifice, the great sage Narada, responding to his inquiry, recited historical facts showing how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always impartial, even when killing demons. And he told a narration. He told several narrations, and one of them is this one, because here's Hiranyakashipu who got shot by the nails of Lord Trinidad, and Prahlad was protected. So looks like partiality. One gets the nails and the other gets the pat on his head. Looks partial. So how we can understand, that's the question of Yudhishthira. And Narada is explaining through this narration the fact that the personality of Godhead is simply reciprocating with how persons regard him. Like we hear in Bhagavad Gita, Viyatamam Prapadyante, Tang Sataiva Prajamyamam, Mama Vartana Vartante. So, Hiranyakashipu was regarding him in a certain way, and Prahlad regarding him in a different way, and he reciprocated with them according to their regard for him. Name Dveshosti Napriyaha. That's the personality of Godhead. Neither is one Priya nor Dvesha, but he's reciprocating the feelings of those who have regard for him. So that's what we experience in life. So we're hearing that lesson, and other lessons, essentially, keeping it simple, the lesson of how to come to the stage of pure bhakti. Prahlad later in his prayers, next chapter 10, says that the personality of Godhead, being compassionate upon the kripanas, the miserly, you'll see that phrase in this section of verses. Those who are miserly, those who are averse to the personality of God, he shows his affection to them by making an appearance and giving his kindness to them in this other way. So here's we're going to go through 4 verses, 15 through 19, and it covers a particular section of theme. Here's the translation. My Lord, who is never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, and your frowning eyebrows. So just the language he's using sounds, oh, ferocious mouth. His tongue is moving back and forth like a sword within his mouth. His eyes are glaring bright, and his roaring sound very, very loud. I do not hear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge-like ears. Here's a cat ready to pounce on a prey, a mouse or something. Their ears are up and they're ready to pounce. Now, sometimes in temples, especially around the time of Sringadeva's appearance, there's a drama about Sringadeva, and they have some background music for when Sringadeva appears. So here's some background music. In case you want to borrow this for the next Sringadeva appearance drama, thank you for the digital file. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. He's fearless, and he has a reason, because he understands this feature is meant for Ranyakashipu, and a Ranyakashipu-like personality is not meant for the devotees. So, like comment, the lion is very fearsome to other animals, but the cubs not at all afraid of the lion. Next, another example. The water of the sea is certainly dreadful on the land. But within the sea, even the small fish are unafraid. Why? Because the small fish has taken shelter of the big ocean. It is said that although great elephants are taken away by the flooding waters of the river, the small fish swim opposite the current. So for Prahlad, he's not at all afraid because he knows that feature is not meant for him. Therefore, although the Lord sometimes assumes a fierce appearance to kill the Duskritis, the devotees worship him. Ishapadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Devotee always take pleasure in worshiping the Lord and glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce. People trying to kill the Shinigami and roar the Shinigami. Finish burning people. Next text. Now, Bandha Swa Karma Beer. O most powerful, insurmountable Lord, for kind to the fallen soul, I have been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities, and therefore I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. When will that moment come when you call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, or to the ultimate goal for liberation from conditional life? So, in the Sanskrit, here's this word apavarga, sharanam. We discussed this in his earlier appearances. Apavarga is the opposite of pavarga. Exactly. I think I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but I listen to Srila Prabhupada regularly. And those of you that do know the Sanskrit alphabet, these are declensions of I've heard it so many times. Corresponds to parishrama, intense activity. Corresponds to fena, the foam in the mouth, like a horse when he's running, or people who work very hard, foam in the mouth. Bondage. Fear. Ritual. That's material existence. It always ends with death. Whatever else may be in the middle. Ritual. Then there's avarga. Means no material existence. We discussed this. The state that Prahlad was transported to by the mercy of Narada, he got the mercy of Lord Srinivas, and by the mercy of Lord Srinivas, he went beyond the state of neutrality or merging with the Supreme or becoming one with the Supreme. What that was beyond nirvana, was beyond moksha, was beyond this. In that state of consciousness, in the language of the Bhagavatam, we discussed this already. Swarupena Yavastiti. Swarupa, in his spiritual identity, he had a physical body that got old and died. He lived for a long time. But it was a physical, temporary body. He had one. But his consciousness was with the personality of God. And he engaged the body, and engaged the mind, engaged his intelligence, engaged those temporary features that were covering the soul in service to the Supreme Soul. Sarupina Navastiti. So there's Apavarga Charanam. He is asking in this second half of the prayer, please take me to this Apavarga place. But he's speaking as if he's one of us, when in fact he's already liberated. He's already perfected. So he's teaching the way for us how to get to that position. Through humility, through association of saintly persons like Narada, in receiving their mercy, becoming lifted beyond the contamination that he's speaking here of result of his past activities, karma, against the body, bondage. Now, he's not conditioned soul. Even before he was born, Narada heard, Narada understood that this is a very special person, very special soul. He is a great devotee. Now, how does Narada know before somebody's born what they could be like? Right, he has that capacity. He's very near to Super Soul instructs him, he knows those things. But even before he did anything, he was a great devotee. And what to speak of, he heard from Narada. And he heard from Narada still within the womb of his mother. But he understood everything and remembered everything. His mother also heard. She liked it. She was the wife of Ranikashipu, but she liked the message of Vishnu was supreme. Because that's what Prahlad heard. The difference is she forgot everything after she was again with Ranikashipu because she was attached to him. And so her remembrance became covered. Her intelligence became spoiled. But Prahlad didn't forget. That was one of his gifts. In fact, according to Rupa Swami, he exemplifies one who achieved perfection through this one of the 9 processes of bhakti. Constant remembrance. Constant remembrance comes from hearing very carefully. I'll share this with you. I've been speaking on these verses for some time, starting beginning of October, when I was Beijing. Mentioned this. There's a national holiday in China where people don't work. Chinese people do not work. It's beautiful. They're really hard working people. The national holiday, it's holiday time. So I visit during that time and conduct seminars. So this year I spoke on these prayers. And then it's wonderful, but it took twice as long because it had to be translated into Chinese. To say, translated, all these images were in Chinese. And then again coming back. So several times narrating these things again and again, I'll say, just here, very powerful. These messages they're not ordinary, just like the Maha Mantra, it's not ordinary. And the sound vibration of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not ordinary. It's powerful. It has the power to deliver one from material contamination, according to what Prahlad says, beyond even the touch of material contamination. Although he was within the world, born in a demoniac family, son, imagine being the son of Rani-Kashi for Prahlad. But he was a perfected being. Now he's speaking of himself as if he's not, because he's teaching us the way of devotional service. And he's saying in this verse, he's taken birth because of his sinful activities. Well, he doesn't have sinful activities. He's in his life as God. So he's expressed in the previous verse what he's not afraid of, but there is something he's afraid of. He's afraid of the condition of life within this material world, or he's afraid of the bad association that produces aversion. Because all living entities, Krishna says in Bhagavad, all living entities take birth in this world for two reasons, Raga and Dvesha. Raga, Dvesha, Samudhina, Dvandva, Mohina. Everyone takes birth in this world overcome by the dualities of Raga, they covet the position of Vishnu or the Supreme or God. They want to be the enjoyer of property, but that's his business. He's Purusha. They want to be imitation Purusha. Imitation enjoyer of property. But there's a problem to be the enjoyer of property. There's already somebody who's in that position. So therefore there's Dvesha. I'll make this example. Supposing there's a citizen who's envious. He sees the king seated on the throne and thinking, I want to sit on the throne. Someone's there, at least some of the time. He can sit there, some of the time I can sit there. People have a turn behind. So the problem is there's already somebody there. I covet the position of being the king, but somebody's already king. So it's a combination of Raga and Dvesha. So that Raga and Dvesha applies in its primordial sense to the Supreme, to Vishnu, to Krishna. And Prahlad, having taken birth in the material world, his own fear is not go to Trinity, he comes to give fearlessness. His afraid, his ayah, is bad association. Because bad association creates bad character. Just like there's a nice young boy. And parents of young boys, they're concerned about association. Because in bad association, the good boy, they become spoiled. So mom and dad are always naturally concerned who their child is spending time with. And it's appropriate to do that. I was just visiting in Ayodhya and Chitrapur. And one of the things that came out in the course of all of that was that Kaikeyi, she had more affection for Ram than for her own son. She felt that Ram has more affection for her than Bharata. She loved Ram. She was a Ram Bhakta. It said that when the four boys were married and came back, she made a special palace for Sita, made it gold. Not for her daughter-in-law, for Sita. She had great affection, pure affection, almost pure affection for Ram and Sita. But bad association. I think she completely turned against Ram. In the Adhyatma Ramayana that's found in the Vishnu Purana, a form of the narration of Rama's pastimes that our acharyas have accepted. It says that after Bharata failed to successfully convince Ram to return back to Ayodhya and rule and took his sandals instead, placed them on his head and ruled on Ram's behalf in Ayodhya. Everyone was departing. Kaikeyi came before Ram and said, I've made this major offense. I know, she said, I know that you're Vishnu. Come as my dear relative. I'm your devotee, but I've made this big offense. And please somehow excuse me for this big offense. I became averse to you. I caused you so much trouble. And what did Ram say? Because he speaks as the personality of Godhead, saying, don't worry, this was all arranged by me for my pastimes. You will see in course of time, everything is okay. But a lesson is bad association can make one averse. Even someone that's a devotee, even Prahlad, or even any one of us, or Kaikeyi, or anybody. Bad association is something that you must be very careful about. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita was asked on different occasions, what's the characteristic of a devotee? So one time, one of the answers he gave is, a devotee is one who very carefully avoids intimate association with those who are inimical to Krishna. A asat sangha tyag, a Vaishnavachara. The achara conduct of a Vaishnava is they be careful about. Asat sangha tyag. In this world, there's so many persons who have attachment to the temporary. We don't dislike them. We have affection for all living entities, regard and respect for all living entities because they're parts of the Supreme. But we don't intimately associate with them because of this. Prabhupada in his purport explains, everyone is put into conditional life according to his karma. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, representing all the other conditioned souls, admits that he was put into life among the asuras because of the result of his karma. Now, he was sent to Vaikuntha by Lord Vishnu for Narayana to teach the way of devotional service, but he's speaking as if he's one of us, although he's not. Again, in the purport. The Lord is known as Kripana Vatsala because he is extremely kind to the conditioned soul. The Lord is anxious to deliver the conditioned souls. Represented here in the upper left corner, the scriptures are there for people of this world, conditioned souls, to bring them to the shelter of Krishna. And the painting on the right-hand side is Ajamila. It's a description from the sixth canto of the Bhagavatam and other parts of the Puranas, where a elevated person, a Brahmana, by birth and by quality, he also became corrupted by bad association. He became a very fallen person. So fallen that when it was this time of death, these fellows over here, the Yamadutas, came to take him away to the court of Yamaraj to take a hellish situation in this next life. But fortunately, because previously he was an elevated Vaishnava, he named his son Narayana. And so when he was panicking, seeing the Yamadutas, he screamed, "My son, Narayana!" By calling Narayana, the agents of Narayana came and protected him. We just have 3 more verses. Vadamitava Dasya Yogam. He wants Lord Nrsimhadev to instruct him, Vada, in the way of Dasya Yoga, the way of devotional service. O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of combination with pleasing and displeasing circumstances, and because of separation from them, one is placed in the most regrettable position within heavenly or hellish planets, as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of miserable life, any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than the miseries themselves. Therefore, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. I instruct you such service. So it's a very simple question to answer. Are people happier today now with so many advancements of science and technology and comfort? And comfort is because all the time. So many highways, I'm just amazed. The extent of the highways that are clean. They're making new ones that it's expanding. So, is the quality of life better? Are people happier for doing so? Automobiles that move so many miles an hour, crashes, and things like that. Is the quality of life better with television, media, advertising? Is the quality of life better? When I visit China, I think that's one of the questions I asked. Not so long ago, before China was largely an agrarian economy. Abundant products were coming from the land. And now, so much industrialization, so much progress in terms of economic development. And now there's a strong class of people that have so many amenities without going into it. Is the quality of life better? You don't hesitate. Is the quality of air better? Is the quality of the water better? Is the quality of family life better? So the solution to the problems are more miserable than the miseries. God's message. And so let's put it forth. material opulence may be somewhat pleasing for the time being, but to come to that position, he has to accept many miseries. The uber karma civilization to build a big city, just like in New York, not so long ago. Our temple is not far from the Brooklyn Bridge, so they had the centennial, the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. Yay! So then the history of the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, hundreds of people died building the bridge. Now, the bridge is still there, they fix it so many times every year, but to build it was very costly. Happiness and the life people were engaged in. So some immigrants were engaged and they had some occupation. And it improved the quality, the happiness of the people involved in it. The fact is that in material life, whether one is miserable or happy, both conditions are miserable. There's a certain sense of freedom, as the image shows, to have things that one didn't have before. In sociology, there's a phrase, the tyranny of choice. By affluence, the model, excuse me for my sociology comments, the model of prosperity brings more choices brings more happiness. So, my dear people in America, prosper, because then you have more choices. You have more money, you can have more choices. You have more choices, you can have more happiness, right? Well, the studies by the sociologists is the opposite. People reporting themselves, they're not feeling happy. What to speak of the degree of depression and so many other things. Depression is an industry in the medical field in America today. Without going into the whole topic. It has an freedom by by having prosperity and thus more choices and thus more happiness. It's a fabrication. It doesn't work that way. Rather, the spiritual solution, if one actually wants happiness, a happy, blissful life, one must become Krishna conscious and constantly engage in the loving service of the Lord. That is the real remedy. So this, the message of Prahlad in his prayers is bhakti is the place of happiness, not having things or coveting those things that you don't yet have and working hard to achieve them. Here's Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This is Lord Nrsimhadev speaking to Prahlad. What will you do by serving thy feet? Please enjoy the happiness from the wealth of the three worlds. Prahlad, I experience the fire of lamentation through birth, with separation and attainment of wanted and unwanted objects in all wombs. Even in the body of the king, this lamentation is present. There are many remedies for the fire of lamentation. The remedy for suffering only produces more suffering. By thinking that I am happy, even in the body of a pig, I wander about. Please tell me the method of being your servant. By which method should I attain your service? Please tell me the truth. If I have service to you, I have no suffering at all in any womb. So the reference here is to a story found in the Puranas where Indra offended Brihaspati cursed him to become a pig. And then after some time, Rama felt sorry when he came to Indra and said, come on back to the kingdom of heaven. And Indra said, what? I'm perfectly happy. I didn't have a wife and so many piglets to look after, and I had my duties here. So he was unwilling to return to the kingdom of heaven because he was quite comfortable in his. So the tendency is to become attached to the sense of happiness, whatever the circumstances, while at the same time recognizing it really doesn't bring real happiness in your life. And a lot is reminding us of that. I'm almost done. Text 18. Oh, my Lord Nrsimhadev, by engaging in your transcendental loving service in the association of devotees for liberated souls, I shall become completely uncontaminated by the association of the three modes of material nature and be able to chant the glories of your Lordship, who are so dear to me. Previously, he's spoken about his misfortune, Ugra Jate, being born in a family of asuras, and his disqualification. Now the material disqualification doesn't bar one from devotional service. There's no material qualification or disqualification. Everyone's eligible for devotional service, provided there's association. For those that are carrying bhakti and they receive the bhakti, they just say yes and engage in devotional service and carefully avoid offenses. And then bhakti, his message here is bhakti can lift one above those shortcomings. And then one can go beyond the motivation. We can discipline for it and become free. I shall chant your glories, following exactly the footsteps of Lord Brahma and his disciplic succession, because his spiritual master is Narada, whose spiritual master is Lord Brahma. So following Lord Brahma and his disciplic succession, I'm going to do what they do. I shall undoubtedly be able to cross the ocean of nescience. So we just need the association of such personalities, or those who are in the line of disciplic succession of those personalities, and dedicate their body, mind, and words to that service. We read this in a previous prayer of love. And the conclusion of this purport is right here. Attachment for glorifying the Lord, hearing and chanting the holy name and activities of the Lord, Shravana Kirtan of Vishnu, certainly brings one to the position where material contamination is absent. So we spent, I don't know, half an hour discussing this topic from the previous prayer, where the samadhi stage that God was in was beyond the contamination of the modes of nature. So is it possible for us? The answer is yes. That's the gift that Bhagavatam wants to give us. Please take it. Is it possible? It's not really possible. Please take it. Just have to say yes. Take that gift that comes from this wonderful opportunity here, the pastime of the personality of Godhead. Accepting the thoughts of exalted authorities through disciplic succession is certainly much easier than the method of mental speculation, by which one tries to invent some means to understand the absolute truth. Best process is to accept the instructions of the previous acharyas and follow them. Then, God realization and self-realization become extremely easy. Right? Somebody put this image here of this PowerPoint presentation. This is Prabhupada at the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn. And yours truly is in the picture there. Younger, a little bit younger. Brahmacharya. And what's going on is it's a drama. During those days, there were some young devotees who their previous profession in Manhattan was they were involved in the acting field. But then they met devotees, they became devotees, and now they got together and had a dramatic acting troupe called Vaikuntha Players. Every time Prabhupada came, it was a big festival. They prepared this drama, and the Prabhupada is watching the drama. You see, he's enjoying watching the drama. That's at the other end of the room, like the players performing. And Vishwanath writes, explaining all this. I think because of time, I'm just going to, because Vishwanath has repeated the message now. Carry forward. Sunday school's over, huh? Here we come. Yes, I'll try to hurry. One last verse. Boys, boys. My brother Shingadeva, O Supreme, because a bodily conception of life, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Looks like he's partial to the devotees and not kind upon the non-devotees. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. So this is speaking of the byproduct of acting not in Krishna consciousness, but acting in finding material solutions to material problems without any spiritual dimension to them. In the end result, Prabhupada writes, for example, a father and mother cannot protect the child. They try, but there may be some difficulty. Or a physician, however trained, and medicine cannot necessarily relieve the suffering patient. Or a boat on the ocean cannot necessarily protect a drowning man. Ultimately, the shelter of the Lord and one who takes shelter of the Lord is protected. Shelter is the Lord. The Lord is protected. This is guaranteed. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Kote Apta Vijani Name Apta Pranashati, O Kunti, declared boldly to my devotees and parishes. This is the last slide. But here's Prahlad. He was put into great danger by Hiranyakashipu. Den of poisonous serpents, or tempted to be trampled by a wild elephant, or tossed off a cliff. But as you see, there's no mission caught Prahlad to get smashed. God has protected Prahlad even against the greatest of calamities. Now, we're not likely to get pushed off a cliff or under a wild elephant or hit a venomous serpent. Our tribulations are not quite so extreme. But the protection messages, take shelter of the one who gives protection, you'll be protected. Prabhupada tells a little story, and supposing there's a small boy walking along the street, holding the hand of his father, and here comes a big dog, woof, 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 showing his teeth. And the little boy, he remains fearless because he's holding the hand of his father. And his father has always protected him. So he's fearless. He's fearless. And what's the dog going to do? One day we'll have nice Sunday school that's over somewhere. The kids are very happy to be with the Sunday school. That's one day. Middle story. I was visiting at one of the IITs in India. The devotee was a professor, and I was staying with him and giving class for the students who would come to during the morning Bible class. So after Mangalarti, it was nice and fresh outside, so I went for regular things, going for a morning walk. Very quiet, peaceful, fresh air. And as you know, there are street dogs. They don't have a home. They're homeless dogs, no shelter for those dogs. So they kind of hang out in a pack. So they would, hang out together. When I would walk by, the lead dog would lift his head, hear me walking by, and go woof. And the others would go woof, woof, woof. Then I just keep walking and they leave me alone. It kind of would happen. Even they saw me coming by every time instead of say woof. Like this is our territory. Then one morning, I saw one professor going for his morning walk, and he had a little white poodle, little blue guy, on a leash, and he had a cane. So when the professor was walking by, the dogs heard the poodle, saw the whole thing, and one dog went woof, and the other one woof, woof, and they all keep charging out. That night just like looked up, and they keep charging, ready to have a meal. The professor, with one arm, picked up the dog, put the dog under his arm, and the other hand had his cane and showed them the cane. And the lead dog looked at the other dogs and looked at the cane, looked at the other dog, shrugged his shoulders, and was back and lying down. And the poodle was licking the professor's cheek, and his little tail was going like this. He was protected because he had Natha, he had a master. And those other fellows, they were Anatha, they had no master. The one who has a master feels protected. They know that they'll be protected. If we take shelter of the place where there is real shelter, there's no fear. You're protected. I mean, there's circumstances of the world that you may have to deal with, but ultimately, who can harm you? There's this saying in Sanskrit, if Krishna wants to protect you, who can harm you? And if Krishna wants to destroy you, who can protect you? Rakshata, rakshata. One who abides by Dharma is protected by Dharma. It's just like that. And those that are like all of you, you know this. That's your devotees. You're here because you know that he's the master. We're the servant, and we're meant for serving the master. And one who takes that position, they're protected. And so Prahlada is teaching the way of pure devotional service, where there's no one foot in one boat, the other foot in the other boat, and you try to cross the river. That's not a good program. But both feet, one boat. And the boat is the boat of bhakti. And you, like Arjuna, you live your life according to your nature. You have to give things up. You have to do those things that you do for the personality of Godhead, for his pleasure, for his service. You make that sacrifice in your life, but you're not the enjoyer of those things. He's the enjoyer of those things. Rishikesh Sevana. Bhakti Ritude. That's all. That's our life. And Prahlada is teaching that in a practical way in his prayers. So I'm going to end, and let's see if there's a little bit of question there. Time. Yeah. Someone? Right here. Okay. Yeah. There's no one asking. Yeah. Yeah. Nice question. You understand the question? Vishwanath, compliments of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, we have the following understanding. He says, of course, Lakshmi saw Lord Nrsimhadev in previous kalpas when he made his appearance in this world, and she saw him in the spiritual world because he's in the spiritual world. But by the influence of Leela Shakti, what we commonly say in ISKCON, by the Yogamaya potency of the Supreme Lord, she felt as if she had never seen this woman. It's a pastime of the Lord, Vishwanath explains, so that she and the demigods could experience Adbhuta Rasa. Right in the verse, you're referring to verse text 1 of this chapter. They'd never seen the form before. She had seen the form before, but she was under the influence of the internal potency where she couldn't remember that she had seen that form. Like, for example, Arjuna forgetting what he's doing it. That's not Arjuna. But by the influence of Krishna, he became forgetful, so that Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita. Like Mari Kriksha acting in this very bad manner. That's not Mari Kriksha. To get overwhelmed by thirst, become overwhelmed by anger, and to put a dead snake on a sadhu was in meditation. That's not Mari Kriksha. It was induced by the personality of God's potency to act like that, so that he could receive Srimad Bhagavatam and go back to Godhead. So this is one of those circumstances where, by the influence of the direct potency of the Supreme Lord, we commonly say Yogamaya potency, covering. So she forgot what she already knew. And so this Adbhuta Rasa, Thulubhito, that's a nice one. There's 5 principal rasas, yes? Neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental, and conjugal love. 5. And then there's 7 secondary rasas. One of them is Adbhuta Rasa. Right in the verse, you put it up here. Next one. Adbhuta. And that means astonishing, wonder. So it was the purpose of the Supreme Lord that she would feel this Adbhuta Rasa, and the demigods also. It's a staya, it's an ecstasy that strengthens and enhances their love, and then is withdrawn after some time. Secondary rasas appear, stay for some time, rise, and then recede. It's signs of rasa. Now, Prahlad, he was endowed with this simplicity factor. He hadn't seen that form before. He had. But he understood because of his bhakti, he understood. This is meant for him, not meant for me. Meant for Srinivas. I mean, Divine Kashika, because his divine active behavior. That's what it's for. But we saw, specifically, we saw that the affection, he felt it. Anger is for him, the affection is for the devotion. He felt it, because it's felt. And another way of saying similar is, this is a Leela. The Srinivas is a Leela avatar. So the Leela is all orchestrated by him, his internal potency. And then on the stage is Prahlad. The spotlight's on Prahlad, and he's in the spotlight. He has this benediction. Happy and great. Very peaceful, very simple, very pure. Not to say the others are something wrong with them, but it's a Leela where he's in the spotlight. They're moving according to the potencies of the Supreme Good, the holiness. That's holiness. Yeah. In the spiritual world, God is one. Rama vimurti kamani anena tishtani nana vataram akaroga ganeshu kintu. It's the person from Samhita that says, yes, non-avatara, there are various avatars that appear in this world, but the source of them, Govindam Ani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. There's one that's the source of them all, like when lamp, Deepa, is used to light other lamps, and the other lamps have equal illumination power as the original lamp. But one is the original lamp. So these forms, like the string of Rama, Krishna, etc., they have those forms in the spiritual world. Rama has an abode, it's like Kunta realm, and he shows that form of Rama. Here, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna. They're in by Ayodhya, and then they descend into this realm, and they show themselves in a lila way as the sons of Dasarath, the whole way in which they appear to the sons of Dasarath. But they have their spiritual form, Swarup, in the spiritual world. So there's variegation in short. If the premise of your question is, in the spiritual world, God is one. What does that mean? There's a tattva, Vishnu tattva, and in those Vishnu tattvas, there's various forms of an absolute or advaya nature. It's I hope I'm making myself clear. There's a nice verse, Vedanta tat tattva vedas tattvam jnanam advayam. Those who are learned in Vedanta, Vedanta tattva vedas tattvam jnanam advayam. They know this advaya nature of the spiritual world. And it has different aspects, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. In that Bhagavan feature, there's various forms. The forms are one entity taking various features according to the bhava of the devotee. He appears according to that form that they have affection for. It's not, once upon a time, there wasn't that form, there was homogeneous blur, and then somebody had some affection for a homogeneous blur and he assumed the form. No. Krishna says that understanding is the foolish one. Right? Avajanantimam mudha manushim tanamarshakam. They think, those who are buddhas, think I've assumed the form. Not so. It's his eternal form and he descends in his eternal form. Of the universe. So the tattva is one, the manifestations are diverse. And that's of the non-dual nature, according to Scripture. Yes, last question, then we'll answer. Speak loud enough, don't say the first part, because there's people in the back. He's saying that this was a nice series, now he has a question.
You are enjoying the nice series of Salar Maharaj for daily life and Bhagavad Maharaj. Upcoming Jagannath Rath Yatra and
I was planning to say something about Jagannath. You want me to say something about Jagannath? Okay, I'm ready. Jagannath is also one of those forms of the Supreme Lord. And in Skanda Purana, there's details about the first Jagannath Rath Yatra. And then that was instructed to King Indradumna how the Jagannath Rath Yatra should be performed. And then later, the next Jagannath Rath Yatra was when Krishna went to Kurukshetra on the occasion of solar eclipse, and there he met the residents of Vrindavan. But they didn't like seeing Krishna in this regal, opulent, Dwarka prince way. They wanted to see him in the garland of forest flowers, not big armor and ornaments and jewels. They wanted him to be with the peacocks and the cows, not with big horses and armies. So they prepared a chariot and wanted to bring Krishna with them back to Vrindavan. So the Jagannath Rath Yatra in Puri commemorates that mood of the residents of Vrindavan wishing to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. Krishna from Dwarka or Krishna from Kurukshetra, the place of opulence, to Gambhira. Gambhira represents Vrindavan. So next week, the form of Lord Jagannath is going to be for the benefit of everybody. Seeing the form of Lord Jagannath and receiving the prasad of Lord Jagannath is a very great benediction. And looks like the benediction of prasad is coming to the door right now. Thank you all very much. Please come to Jagannath Rath Yatra next week. I won't be there, but I know it'll be a nice event.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Sri Romapada Varinam, and again, a big thank you to His Holiness Romapada Swami for spending the last few days in Puri.